In the bustling city of Accra, where gossip travels faster than trotro buses and secrets never stay buried for long, lived a woman named Adwa Serwab, beautiful, ambitious, and feared for her sharp tongue. Years ago, she was married to a quiet, humble man named Kwame Kusi, a struggling mechanic who worked at a small garage in Dome. Their marriage lasted barely 4 years before she left him, saying he was too poor to match her destiny. Kwame didn't fight. He simply packed his few belongings and left their small rented room in Tantra Hill. The divorce was quick. The humiliation was heavy. But life has a strange sense of humor. 5 years later, Adua had risen in life not by hard work, but by dating the rich and powerful. Her new fiancé Kojo Afori came from a wealthy business family in East Legon. Their upcoming wedding was one of the most talked about events in Accra. Influencers were preparing their best outfits. Bloggers were sharpening their captions. Adua felt unstoppable, but she had one last mission, one last ego stroke she needed before she walked down the aisle. She wanted to disgrace her ex, so she did the unthinkable. She sent Kwame a wedding invitation, accompanied by a note, "Come and see what a real man looks like." She even told her bridal squad, "When Kwame walks in with his cheap trousers and his village sandals, everyone will know I upgraded." Little did she know, her life was 3 days away from exploding. The event was at Aqua Safari Resort and Ada, decorated with gold chairs, floating candles, and enough flowers to fill the Abori Botanical Gardens. Influencers recorded every second. The media was everywhere. The entrance alone looked like royalty was arriving. Just as the ceremony was about to begin, a commotion erupted outside the gates. Cameras swiveled, necks craned. A Rolls-Royce Phantom, the latest 2025 model, pulled up slowly, its polished body glistening under the Ghanaian sun. The engine purred like wealth itself. Everyone began whispering, "Which minister is that? Is it a foreign investor?" Security hurried forward, then froze. From the back seat stepped Kwame, the same Kwame who used to walk around with grease-stained shirts and torn slippers, but now wearing a tailored Italian suit, a Patek Philippe watch, and shoes that screamed money. But that was not the real shock. Behind him stepped 3 little children, triplets. 2 boys and a girl, matching outfits, bright smiles, and carrying small designer bags. And then, a woman stepped out. She was breathtaking, taller than Adua, dripping elegance, and glowing like someone who had never tasted stress before. She wore a diamond bracelet that alone could buy a house in cantonments. People gasped. Bloggers whispered, "This man has triplets. Adwo is finished today." Even the wedding DJ paused the music. Kwame walked gracefully toward the entrance with his new family. He greeted people with calm confidence, the kind that comes from wealth and success. The manager rushed to welcome him, assuming he was some foreign dignitary. But Kwame simply smiled and said, "I'm here for the wedding of my ex-wife, Adwa Serwa." At that moment, Adwa, already dressed in her gown, overheard everything. She froze, her makeup suddenly feeling too heavy on her face. Kojo, the groom, noticed his bride staring toward the entrance with horror. When he peered over, his jaw dropped, because Kojo recognized the woman standing beside Kwame. She was Nadedai, a well-known real estate heiress whose family owned properties across East Legon Airport Hills, Tresako, and Tema. Rumors said her family was building a luxury estate in Kumasi worth millions. What nobody knew was this: Nadedai was Kojo's ex, and he left her because she refused to fund his failing business. Kwame and Nadedai looked like royalty. Kojo looked like a receipt that had been crumpled and thrown away. Suddenly, everything began to unravel. Adwa, breathing heavily like her corset was suffocating her, stormed toward Kwame. "What are you doing here?" she shouted. Kwame blinked slowly. "You invited me, not like this," she hissed. "Oh, should I have worn my old mechanic uniform?" he asked gently. Her bridesmaids giggled behind their fans. The guests gasped. Phones were recording. Kojo walked over, face stiff. Just as he approached Lil Kwabina, one of the triplets, pointed at him and said loudly, "Mummy, that's the uncle who tried to visit you last year." Everyone froze. Kojo's eyes widened. Adwoa nearly fainted. The crowd erupted with whispers. Kojo stuttered, What is this boy talking about? Nah, that I smiled politely. Oh, don't worry. My security cameras already recorded that day. You came begging me to invest in your company. I told you I had moved on, you insisted. I told you no. You got angry, and now, here you are, marrying this woman. Adwa felt the ground cracking under her feet. Her groom had chased her ex-husband's rich wife a year ago. People pulled out their phones faster than lightning. As Kwame stepped forward. Sir, aren't you the CEO of Kusi Innovations? Everyone turned. Kusi Innovations was the tech company behind Ghana's newest mobile payment software, recently valued at $280 million. There had been rumors the founder was a mysterious man who rose from poverty to wealth in just 4 years. Kwame smiled. Yes, that is me. Adwa's mouth opened, then closed, then opened again. You mean you're wealthy now? She stammered. Kwame shrugged. I worked hard. God blessed me, and my wife here. He motioned to Nadidai, believed in me when no one else did. Nadidai added playfully, when I met him, he still had grease on his fingers. Now he has me, and 3 children, and wealth that even I admire. The guests nearly fainted. Bloggers were already posting Adua invited her ex to disgrace him, but he arrived like a king. Ghana's wedding of the year turns into the scandal of the decade. Kojo, embarrassed and angry, pulled Adua aside. You didn't tell me your ex was this man. You didn't tell me you went back to your ex for money, she snapped. Their argument was loud, dramatic, and highly public. Finally, Kojo shouted, This wedding is over. He stormed out, leaving Adua crying in the middle of her own ceremony. The guests stood up in awkward silence. Kwame approached her gently. He wasn't there to mock. He was too mature for that. Adua, he said softly, you wanted to show me how far you've come. But life is not a competition. I hope you find peace. He turned, took his wife's hand, lifted one of the triplets, and walked away calmly like a king leaving a broken kingdom behind. The Rolls-Royce door closed with a soft click. And just like that, Kwame's saga became the juiciest scandal Ghana had seen in years. Adul disappeared from social media for months. But the story, it lived on, whispered in salons, bars, trotro buses, and every corner of Ghana. The lesson was simple. Be careful whom you look down on. Today's nobody might be tomorrow's billionaire.